Hello everyone. Myself, Dr. Sharmila Pandey, Associate Professor of Chemistry in the School of Sciences, Sage University, Bhopal. Today I will discuss on the topic BACPR theory. Professor Ronald Gillespie and Tonal Diom they first gave the concept of VSEPR theory, where VSEPR stands for valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. This is an important part of valence bond theory, and we use VSEPR to predict the three-dimensional shapes of the molecules. It is very useful for nearly all compounds that have a central atom that is not a metal. So to begin with, few rules we have to keep in our mind. The first one is the least electronegative atom must be selected as the central atom. We have to count the total number of electrons belonging to the outermost shell of the central atom. We also have to count the total number of electrons belonging to other atoms, that is the peripheral atoms. And we have to add up these two values in order to obtain the valence shell electron pair number, that is BACPR number. So again, we can elaborate the rules like first, and the steps to follow are like draw a Lewis structure for the ion or molecule in question. We have to count the number of valence electron on the central atom. We have to count the number of electrons donated to the central atom by the peripheral atoms or ligands. We have to count the total number of valence electron on the central atom. Count the number of pairs. We have to assign the type, predict the geometry, and we have to match with the actual geometry. To do so, first we have to know what could be the shape depending on the number of pairs. So before calculating the number of valence electron on central atom or the peripheral atom, we have to know what will be the result of the number of pairs. So in case of AX2, we know we can see that the bond pair will be 2. So with 2 bond pair, there can be number of lone pairs also. In case of 0 lone pair, the total steric number remains 2, and we can see that the hybridization will be sp and the shape of the molecule will be linear, because we know with sp hybridization the shape is linear, and as there is only 2 bond pair, no lone pair and anything else is there, so the shape of the molecule we will see is linear. The example of barium chloride, BCl2. When we consider 2 bond pair and 1 lone pair in AX2 type of molecule, so total number of pair becomes 3, that is sp2 hybridization, and the geometry will be trigonal planar, but the shape we will see is bent, because we cannot see lone pair but we can see the effect of the lone pair. So the molecule we will see will have V shape. If the number of bond pair is 2 and lone pair is also 2, so total number becomes 4. Then the sp3 hybridization will occur and the geometry will be tetrahedral, but the shape again will be bent, because only 2 bond pairs are visible, and the two we will see the effect of the lone pairs on the shape of the molecule. If the number of bond pairs is 2 and the number of lone pairs 3, total number will become 5. That means there will be sp3 dehybridization and the shape of the molecule will be linear, like in case of xenon fluoride, xenon difluoride XeF2. So linear and bent shape is expected from AX2 type of molecules. Now, if we go to AX3 type of molecule, we all can see there can be 3 bond pairs. Now, depending on the number of lone pairs, their shapes will be different. Like if number of lone pairs 0, the hybridization will be sp2. geometry will be trigonal planar, and the shape we will see will be triangular. The example is BF3. It is a triangular planar molecule. If the number of lone pair is 1, so total becomes 4, where the hybridization will be sp3. Geometry is tetrahedral. The shape we will see will be trigonal planar, with the lone pair of in case of ammonia, where the lone pair of nitrogen is at the apical position. Now, if the number of bond pair is 3 and lone pair is 2, so total number becomes 5. Hybridization is sp3d. It is trigonal bipyramidal, and the shape of the molecule will be T shape. Example is ClF3, where two lone pairs are in the equatorial position. One bond pair ClF is another equatorial position, and two other fluorides are at axial position. So the shape we will see will be T shape. When it is AX4, there are 4 bond pairs. When the number of lone pairs are 0, the total number is 4. So the shape of the molecule will be tetrahedral. When the bond pair is 4, lone pair is 1, total number becomes 5. It is sp3d hybridization, and therefore the shape will be irregular tetrahedron or seesaw shape. Example is TeCl4, where only the sole lone pair occupies one of the equatorial position of the trigonal plane. The last option can be 4 bond pair 2 lone pair, where it will be sp3d hybridization, and the shape of the molecule will be square planar, having the lone pairs at the apical positions. If we have AX5 type of molecule, if there is 0 lone pair, it will be trigonal bipyramidal shape, having sp3d hybridization. Example is PF5. If we have 1 lone pair and the total number becomes 6, so the hybridization will be sp3d2, where the shape will be square pyramidal. Lone pair will occupy one of the apical positions. Now if we have the compound AX6, so if 6 are bond pairs, number of lone pairs 0, so the hybridization is sp3d2, and the shape of the molecule will be octahedral like SF6. Now, along with this ideal geometry, there will be some distortion also. Because the lone pairs occupy more volume on the surface of the central atom than bond pairs, so lone pair repulsion will be more than lone pair bond pair repulsion, and that in turn will be more than bond pair repulsion. Repulsions occurring at angles greater than 90 degrees are insignificant. Multiple bonds need more space than single bond, and that is the reason the triple bond volume is larger than double bond and the single bond volume. Bonding pairs to electronegative substituents occupy less space than those to more electropositive substituents. Smaller objects will tend to occupy axial positions in trigonal bipyramids and equatorial positions in pentagonal bipyramids. We will see few examples to understand these points. Like carbon dioxide has no lone pair. So bond pair repulsion places the bonds at 180 degrees. So this is a linear molecule. If we look at SO2 molecule, we can see sulfur is having one lone pair on it along with 2 bond pairs. So sulfur dioxide molecule becomes a bent molecule. Further consequences are that NO2 plus, NO2 dot and NO2 minus. If you compare the angle between them, so when there is no lone pair in NO2 plus, it is a linear molecule. The angle is 180 degree. When a single electron is present, single electron bond pair repulsion is the reason for making the electron 134 degree, and a lone pair bond pair repulsion makes the angle even shorter, that is 115 degrees centigrade, 15 degree. So we can say that because of the lone pair bond pair repulsion, the shape of the molecules are different. So in summary, we can remember the whatever we have discussed as for this following. So if the steric number 2 and the 2 are bond pair, the shape of the molecule will be linear. If the steric number is 3 and all 3 are bond pair, it will be trigonal planar. But if there are 2 bond pair, 1 lone pair, shape will be bent or angular. With steric number 4, if 4 are bond pair, the molecule will be tetrahedral. If one is lone pair, it will be trigonal pyramidal. And if there is 2 lone pair, 2 bond pair, it will be a bent molecule. With steric number 5, if all are bond pair, we know the molecule will be having trigonal bipyramidal. If one lone pair is there, so the shape will be seesaw. And if two lone pairs are there, it will have T shape. If there are 3 lone pairs, 2 bond pairs, again the molecule will be linear. If we consider steric number 6 and all are having bond pairs, the shape of the molecule will be octahedral. With 1 lone pair, it will be square pyramidal. With 2 lone pair, it will be square planar. 3 lone pair, the molecular shape will be T shape, and with 4 lone pairs, the shape of the molecule will be linear. So we have seen what could be the shape depending on number of lone pairs and number of bond pairs. Now, if we calculate the valence electron of the central atom as well as peripheral atoms, so we can easily put them in what group they will belong, and we will be able to determine the shape, three-dimensional shape of the molecules. So that was what the topic of today's discussion. Thank you.